The Gospel of Luke, chapter 6. And it came to pass on a second solemn Sabbath that he went through the cornfields, and his disciples, and plucked the ears of corn, and did eat, and rubbed them in their hands. And certain of the Pharisees said unto him, Why do ye that which is not lawful to do on the Sabbath days? Then Jesus answered them and said, Have ye not read this, that David did when he himself was hungered, and they which were with him, how he went into the house of God, and took and ate the shewbread, and gave it also to them that were with him, which was not lawful to eat, but for the priests only. And he said unto them, The Son of Man is Lord also of the Sabbath day. It came to pass also on another Sabbath that he was entered into the synagogue, and taught, and there was a man whose right hand was dried up. And the scribes and Pharisees watched him whether he would heal on the Sabbath day, that they might find an accusation against him. But he knew their thoughts, and said to the man which had the withered hand, Arise, and stand up in the midst. And he rose up, and stood up. Then said Jesus unto them, I will ask you a question, whether it is lawful on the Sabbath days to do good or to do evil, to save life or to destroy. And he beheld them all encompassed, and said unto the man, Stretch forth thine hand. And he did so, and his hand was restored again, as whole as the other. Then they were full of madness, and communed one with another, what they might do to Jesus. And it came to pass in those days that he went into a mountain to pray, and spent the night in prayer to God. And when it was day, he called his disciples, and of them he chose 12, which also he called apostles, Simon, whom he had named also Peter, and Andrew his brother, James and John, Philip and Bartholomew, Matthew and Thomas, James the son of Alphaeus, and Simon called Zealous, Judas, James' brother, and Judas Iscariot, which also was the traitor. And he came down with them, and stood in a plain place with the company of his disciples, and a great multitude of people out of all Judea and Jerusalem, and from the seacoast of Tyre and Sidon, which came to hear him, and to be healed of their diseases, and they that were vexed with foul spirits, and they that were healed. And the whole multitude sought to touch him, for there went virtue out of him, and he healed them all. And he lifted up his eyes upon his disciples, and said, Blessed be ye poor, for yours is the kingdom of God. Blessed are ye that hunger now, for ye shall be satisfied. Blessed are ye that weep now, for ye shall laugh. Blessed are ye when men hate you, and when they separate you and revile you, and put you out, putting out your name as evil, for the Son of Man's sake. Rejoice ye in that day, and be glad, for behold, your reward is great in heaven. For after this manner their fathers did to the prophets. But woe be to you that are rich, for ye have received your consolation. Woe be to you that are full, for ye shall hunger. Woe be to you that now laugh, for ye shall wail and weep. Woe be to you when all men speak well of you, for so did their fathers to the false prophets. But I say unto you which hear, Love your enemies, do well to them which hate you, bless them that curse you, and pray for them which hurt you. And unto him that smiteth thee on one cheek, offer also the other. And him that taketh away thy cloak, forbid not to take thy coat also. Give to every man that asketh of thee, and of him that taketh away these things that be thine, ask them not again. And as ye would that men should do to you, so do ye to them likewise. For if ye love them which love you, what thanks shall ye have? For even the sinners love those that love them. And if ye do good for them which do good to you, what thanks shall ye have? For even the sinners do the same. And if ye lend to them of whom ye hope to receive, what thanks shall ye have? For even the sinners lend to sinners, to receive the like. Wherefore love your enemies, and do good, and lend, looking for nothing again, and your reward shall be great, and ye shall be the children of the Most High. For he is kind unto the unkind, and to the evil. Be ye therefore merciful, as your Father also is merciful. Judge not, and ye shall not be judged. Condemn not, and ye shall not be condemned. Forgive, and ye shall be forgiven. Give, and it shall be given unto you. A good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, shall men give into your bosom. For with what measure ye mete, with the same shall men mete to you again. And he spake a parable unto them. Can the blind lead the blind? Shall they not both fall into the ditch? The disciple is not above his master, but whosoever will be a perfect disciple shall be as his master. And why seest thou a mote in thy brother's eye, and considerest not the beam that is in thine own eye? Either how canst thou say to thy brother, Brother, let me pull out that mote that is in thine eye, when thou seest not the beam that is in thine own eye? Hypocrite, cast out the beam out of thine own eye first, then shalt thou see perfectly to pull out the mote that is in thy brother's eye. For it is not a good tree that bringeth forth evil fruit, neither an evil tree that bringeth forth good fruit. For every tree is known by its own fruit. For neither of the thorns gather men figs, nor of bushes gather they grapes. A good man out of the good treasure of his heart bringeth forth good, and an evil man out of the evil treasure of his heart bringeth forth evil. For of the abundance of the heart his mouth speaketh. But why call ye me Lord, and do not the things that I speak? Whosoever cometh to me, and heareth my words, and doeth the same, I will show you to whom he is like. He is like a man which built an house, and dug deep, and laid the foundation upon a rock. And when the waters arose, the flood beat upon the house, and could not shake it, for it was grounded upon a rock. But he that heareth and doeth not is like a man that built an house upon the earth without foundation, against which the flood did beat, and it fell by and by, and the fall of that house was great. Luke chapter 7. When he had ended all his sayings in the audience of the people, he entered into Capernaum, and a certain centurion's servant was sick and ready to die, which was dear unto him. And when he heard of Jesus, he went unto him. He sent unto him the elders of the Jews, beseeching him that he would come and heal his servant. So they came to Jesus and besought him instantly, saying that he was worthy that he should do for him. For he loveth, and said they, our nation, and he hath built us a synagogue. Then Jesus went with them, and when he was now not far from the house, the centurion sent friends to him, saying unto him, Lord, trouble not thyself, for I am not worthy that thou shouldest enter under my roof. Wherefore I thought not myself worthy to come unto thee, but say the word, and my servant shall be whole. For I likewise am a man set under authority, and have under me soldiers. And I say unto one, Go, and he goeth, and to another, Come, and he cometh, and to my servant, Do this, and he doeth it. When Jesus heard these things, he marveled at him, and turned, and said to the people that followed him, I say unto you, I have not found so great faith, no, not in Israel. And when they that were sent turned back to the house, they found the servant that was sick whole. And it came to pass the day after, that he went into a city called Nain, and many of his disciples went with him, and a great multitude. Now when he came near to the gate of the city, behold, there was a dead man carried out, who was the only begotten son of his mother, which was now a widow, and much people of the city was with her. And when the Lord saw her, he had compassion on her, and he said unto her, Weep not. And he went and touched the coffin, and they that bare him stood still, and said, Young man, I say unto thee, arise. And he that was dead sat up and began to speak, and he delivered him to his mother. Then there came a great fear upon them all, and they glorified God, saying, A great prophet is risen among us, and God hath visited his people. And this rumor of him went forth throughout all Judea, and throughout all the region round about. And the disciples of John showed him of all these things. So John called unto him 2 certain men of his disciples, and sent them to Jesus, saying, Art thou he that should come, or shall we wait for another? When the men were come unto him, they said, John the Baptist hath sent us unto thee, saying, Art thou he that should come, or shall we wait for another? And at that time he cured many of their diseases and plagues, and of evil spirits. Unto many blind men he gave sight freely. And Jesus answered and said unto them, Go your ways, and show John what things ye have seen and heard, that the blind see, the halt go, the lepers are cleansed, the deaf hear, the dead are raised, and the poor receive the gospel. And blessed is he that shall not be offended in me. And when the messengers of John were departed, he began to speak unto the people of John, What went ye out into the wilderness to see? A reed shaken with the wind? But what went ye out to see? A man clothed in soft raiment? Behold, they which are gorgeously apparelled and live delicately, and are in king's courts. But what went ye forth to see? A prophet? Yea, I say to you, and greater than a prophet. This is he of whom it is written, Behold, I send my messenger before thy face, which shall prepare thy way before thee. For I say unto you, there is no greater prophet than John among them that are begotten of women. Nevertheless, he that is the least in the kingdom of God is greater than he. Then all the people that heard, and the publicans, justified by God, being baptized with the baptize of John. But the Pharisees and the expounders of the law despised the counsel of God against themselves, and were not baptized of him. And the Lord said, Whereunto shall I liken the men of this generation? And what thing are they like unto? They are like unto little children, sitting in the marketplace, and crying one to another, and saying, We have piped unto you, and ye have not danced. We have mourned unto you, and ye have not wept. For John the Baptist came neither eating bread nor drinking wine, and ye say, He hath a devil. The Son of Man is come, and eateth and drinketh, and ye say, Behold, a man which is a glutton, and a drinker of wine, a friend of publicans and sinners. But wisdom is justified of all her children. And one of the Pharisees desired him, that he would eat with him. And he went into the Pharisee's house, and sat down at table. And behold, a woman in the city, which was a sinner, when she knew that Jesus sat at table in the Pharisee's house, she brought a box of ointment. And she stood at his feet behind him, weeping, and began to wash his feet with her tears, and to wipe them with the hairs of her head, and kissed his feet, and anointed them with the ointment. Now when the Pharisees which bade him saw it, he spake within himself, saying, If this man were a prophet, he would surely have known who and what manner of woman this is, which toucheth him, for she is a sinner. And Jesus answered and said unto him, Simon, I have somewhat to say unto thee. And he said, Master, say on. There was a certain lender which had 2 debtors. The one ought 500 pence, the other 50. And they had nothing to pay. He forgave them both. Which of them, therefore, tell me, will love him most? Simon answered and said, I suppose that he to whom he forgave most. And he said unto him, Thou hast truly judged. And then he turned to the woman, and said unto Simon, Seest thou this woman? I entered into thine house, and thou gavest me no water to my feet, but she hath washed my feet with tears, and wiped them with the hairs of her head. Thou gavest me no kiss, but she, since the time I came in, hath not ceased to kiss my feet. Mine head with oil thou didst not anoint, but she hath anointed my feet with ointment. Wherefore I say unto thee, how many sins are forgiven her? For she loved much. To whom a little is forgiven, he doth love a little. And he said unto her, Thy sins are forgiven thee. And they sat at table with him, and began to say within themselves, Who is this that even forgiveth sins? And he said to the woman, Thy faith hath saved thee. Go in peace.